It is time for an adventure.
Annabelle.
Sit. You ready?
Hot dog.
Swing and a miss.
Well, shoot. She whiffed the hot dog. But that's okay. We got more. Let's go on a hike.
So my goal here is not to overthink it. I would say that's very difficult for me. So that's why I think this is a really good practice to get into. To not overthink everything. I think that's one of the things that people really enjoy about... Oh, I forgot my spray bottle. Whoopsie. That's okay. Camelback will do. Okay. Just got to reconfigure a little bit here. And good. Simpler still. No ability to futz around. At all now, which is great. So I think, spend more of my time focusing on my color mix here. And what I might do well, this is going to be seen, but whatever. I'm just going to play around. Wow! Well, that escalated quickly. Okay, so I'm seeing yellow for sure, obviously. With maybe just a little bit of orange. It's probably way too much orange. More yellow. It's kind of cool. What if I... Okay, so I'm thinking about an aspen. And I'm thinking about the parts that make up an aspen, especially the aspens that people like. I think they're very simple in their nature, and I think people really enjoy that. I've got a little stand of aspens out here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to draw, or I'm not going to worry about the aspens. I'm going to worry about my aspen. I want my leaves kind of flat on one edge. You'll see what I mean. The shape I want flat on one edge around my tree trunks so that I can simulate that there's a tree there. And then everything else can just be kind of a splash of color. And yeah, you can kind of see, I think that looks pretty cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a goodly amount of water. Somehow, by squeezing my camelback like an accordion. Okay, this isn't working great. That's okay. I got a little puddle here. I guess I could just reconfigure. I think I have to hold the camelback up. Yeah, that's physics. Ugh. Okay. Got a little puddle of water over here in my corner. I'm going to mix up. I'm going to try to mix up a good amount of my yellow. That's where the primary bit of this color is going to come from. I got a lot more water here than I necessarily intended. I'm just going to soak some up, or else I'm just going to be fighting with it. Little puddle. And then I'm just going to work in yellow from up here. I kind of like this, I angle like the water down to the corner, and then I let my paint kind of flow down in there, and then I can kind of pull it back out, which gives me a little bit more control and a little bit more pigment, but also the ability to pull some of that water through it to get the consistency that I want. Okay, I think this brush is pretty wet, pretty darn wet, so I'm just going to go, basically I'm just going to give it a tapper to get some get a few real organic shapes in there that the human can't control, right? And then I'm going to come in and just try to get a couple of these just edges in here with that same color. Just going to come straight down. And then some more up in here. So this is kind of really hard to tell. I'm using all my stuff. Basically, this edge is now where my aspen trunk is going to be, this clear area. So I'm gonna let this kind of drip down too. I might have this sketchbook upside down, but no, well, now it's going this way. To help me get some of these leaves in here. And I've got a little bit of water on the page. So now I'm going to work in. One day I'll figure out a better setup for this, but whatever. Okay, I've pretty much lost all my water. It dripped out. That's okay. We're just going to do this live here. Okay, so I've got a lot of pigment in this brush, which is what I want. And then I'm going to try to get some more of that color in there. A couple of darker spots, and then I'm going to put all this down to try to, let's see what else. I'm going to maybe stab in a little color. I want to preserve that yellow now. I don't want to make it go away, and I actually think I can incorporate this that I did before into some leaves, and I'm going to have this one cut in front of the aspen. So I'm going to put my next set of leaves down here, and then stab, stab, stab. And then that can be the trunk there, and then maybe this comes across like that a little bit, and then, you know, maybe that's about it. Maybe I get a little bit more water from my Camelback. Now that's really saturated, so I'm just going to dab some orange, and then just see if I can get some nice little pops of real orange color in there. Maybe it connects like that, so that's going to be the edge of my thing. And then to show the ground, we're just going to do a big kind of a splash like that going across. Maybe one more like that. And I'm just like basically taking, like right off, I'm just like digging into the paint and then going, so that you get that more kind of pronounced color right up front there. And then maybe this, if this is my tree trunk, I'm going to bring this color kind of up this way, and then maybe down like this. So I'm like trying to imagine the shape of that tree. Put it down, Denny. The shape of that tree in that negative space. And like try to keep that in your mind while you're doing the rest. So I'm thinking there's another one like right here, so maybe I put a little bit more color and connect this together maybe a little. And then this is my other side of that. Then that comes down, so maybe there's a little bit more, like, I don't know, a little bit back in here. And then a bit more orange, and then just a little bit of blue maybe, which kind of turns that orange a little bit gray, because orange and blue are complementary colors. So when you put them together, they move towards each other. The color that you create moves towards the center of the wheel, which is where gray is. So then I'm going to take, oh, this dog, God bless you. I'm just going to try to put a little bit, it's probably too green, but whatever. That's okay, that looks kind of cool. Like to show that there's more stuff going on back here. But our focus is going to be these trees and making that pop. Maybe just a little bit. I like using a nice long brush. I think that's pretty, you don't get as much control, but there's something really nice about that, because you don't have the control, and therefore you have to get out of your dang paint's way. And then I might put a little bit of that, let's see, a little bit of that color. Now that this is a little bit wet, so maybe that can imply some like little grasses or something coming up. Okay. I got a couple of nice little beads of wet paint here that I could do something with, and I think what I'm going to do is just maybe just put in a little off color just for some interest, to give me something really going on in there. So that green will get in there and mix a little bit, and who knows, maybe it'll look kind of cool. Maybe it'll look stupid, who cares? It's your sketchbook. I don't know, I get to the point where I could, keep fiddling and floofing around with this. Maybe just give a couple dots of the green too, to show that that's happening. I mean, our colors that we're using here are yellow and green for sure. So, cool. I'm going to leave that alone for a minute, let that dry. And then I think I'm going to try to finish this up really quickly with maybe just a pencil or something. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. Well, I got my spray bottle, left it on the kitchen table. These are very useful in the field. These are what I primarily use for all of my water needs, because you can just kind of gently spritz into your little Johnny here, and it gets it nice, and you get plenty of water in there, so then you can go into your paint and stuff, and it's really useful. You bring a napkin to kind of wipe out your colors. You can get, even reusable napkins that they're like sponges almost, and you wring them out. So you can use them like hundreds of times, which is great. And that's kind of all, that's it. That's the kit, right? I've got colors. I got some colors and I got some brushes. This is actually a new set of brushes for me. I'm being very fancy. I got some of these. These are very cool Fumui brushes that unscrew. This doesn't really matter. I should just do the painting. But anyway, they're really cool travel brushes, and then they screw together and you get a nice long handle, which is awesome in a travel brush. Normally, if I want to fit this in a really small bag, I just, you've got your normal wooden brushes and you cut the end off, but then you got this little stub to deal with. So this is nice because you can still get some like real sketchy, vibrant life into your stuff. I love this brush. This is I think this is a round brush. This is called, and this is an 8, number 8, and it's like perfect for almost all of my needs. But I'm gonna try something new because that's part of this too, is experimentation. You should be trying to have fun. And like trying new stuff because it's more challenging to try new stuff, and that makes it makes art terrible forever. And I'm just kidding. It makes it really is. Well, I don't know. You should always be just pushing yourself just a little bit. I mean, you can like take a victory lap. Like, let's say you practice one thing all the time and you're really good at whatever, cartoon faces, right? Well, that's cool, but try to go like paint a horse. Just see what happens. And it's going to look awful, and you're going to be like, oh, I suck at this again. So it's basically just a great way for us as artists to continually create a hate spiral inside of ourselves. No, to always be working to improve because your work is more. It's just better when you're pushing yourself. It's like I don't know. This is like practice for real life. I can push myself here, and what's the worst that happens? This one page looks stupid, and then I can take that and say, okay, that wasn't so bad. Even my failure wasn't that bad, and then I can push my real life, right? Some deep thoughts. That happens with Denny from time to time. Okay, so I'm going to move into my dark colors now. I decided to move. It was actually starting to get, weather was getting bad on us out there. So we came back in. Annabelle did great. That was her very first off-leash training. We've been working at the house for a long time, and she did a great job. I'm so proud of that dog. And she made it like a joy to want to go out again. So I think we're going to be doing this much more, going much more adventures and painting as we go, because she just did great, and she seemed to enjoy hanging out too, which was awesome. Okay, enough preamble. Mixing paint for 30 minutes, Wetmore. At some point you got to just dive in. I'm just going to dive in here. Okay, so I took a reference photo, which I'm going to put up on the screen. Oh, I've got my iPad too. You can kind of see what's going on there. And I'm not too worried too much about what I'm looking at, but what I am trying to look for are these edges. This is what I am trying to get right now, are these a couple of spots where there's, these trees have been damaged, or they have these limbs that come out and fall off, and there's this they're like kind of big wounds all over Aspens. And sometimes it's like wrapping around the tree, right? So we have, like, for example, right here, we have this this nice edge, and I want to try to simulate that there are a couple of these knotted edges are on this tree, even though we're not going to like draw in the edges of the tree. I want to leave it white for the outline to like let it know that that's. Anyway, I hope this will make. I'm just going to do it. Just do it, Wetmore. Okay, here we go. Let's start up here where I think my impact is going to be greatest. Let's try this blue, and then we'll see how it looks. I'm looking for something fairly dark. New brush, no more. Ooh, you know what we should do? I'm gonna go halfway and then stop this. And go this way. And then down. It didn't look quite as cool as I'd hoped, but that's okay. And then kind of hit this edge. And maybe I just do one more over here in space. And this one maybe comes out a little bit. Okay. But this is going to be my edge. So then I want one that is on that edge. Maybe it comes down. I kind of started over a little too far, but that's okay. This is good. It's good practice. Just dive in, Denny. Just do it. Here we go. Boom. And then maybe one more over here. Yeah, that looks cool. And let's do one here and see if I can end it right at this edge of this thing to make it look like it's going behind it. I might even go a little darker with this pigment. I'm going to just dab in. The nice thing about watercolor is once you have an edge established, it's like a little lake. And then you can, I don't know, you can re-establish your pigment and get a little more water in there while you're figuring other stuff out. And then here I'm just going to apply some of these lines. Sometimes it's just like dots and dashes. So I'm just going to maybe this one connects with that, and then maybe these two connect across there, and then this is going to go behind this, so let's bring this up like that. I need more pigment. And then let's intersect this with this. So hopefully we can tell that that is going, this leaf is going in front of this. And maybe to even help sell that, will come out the top of it too over here, along this little thing. And then begin it again. And that line kind of implies that that's going towards that, so I think that looks pretty good. And then down here, I'm just going to keep this going. And this is my edge here. So maybe there's some more of these lines. Maybe this line comes to the edge. And yeah, I could be, if I was very smart, I could be using these lines to help indicate that there's some roundness in this tree. So maybe I do that, and maybe I say that, okay, this is my eye line. Where your eyes are in the world is basically going to be a horizontal line, almost always. So if you can, like, if I leave that line there, then the implication is that that is the horizon, basically. So I can use that and say, okay, if this tree is curving, what would happen if I was looking at this tree like this, and then I was looking at it like this, or I was looking at it like this if it was like tilting away from me. So then you can say, okay, I know which way those rings would go, and if there was a ring up here, it would be tilting up. So then you kind of just, it's probably a little doofy to put it right on the edge, so I'll add in a little bit more, and maybe one more like that, just to kind of maybe help sell that this is a round object. And then maybe down here, if I wanted to, they could even curve down a little bit, implying that now we're looking down at that tree. It's basically just the same all the way down, but I'm going to treat all of this. Yeah, we'll see how it actually shakes out. So then I'm just kind of following this with my eye. Where's my edge here? Make sure I know where I know where my edge is. And maybe this. Whatever. Maybe I add in a little orange for fun. Don't get too crazy. Don't feel like you got to be too stuck with the same colors. It looks kind of cool if the colors switch a little bit. Maybe all this. I'm trying to get my brush head together a little bit more. Where was I looking here? Maybe like here. This is like part of this shape maybe. And then it like comes around some of these shapes to maybe help sell that. And then it can, yeah, it can curve in. And then this is like the bottom basically. And then we just kind of like, I don't know, put in a little, ooh, that look cool. Maybe I'll try that in a couple more spots to just get a little bit more like random damage kind of on these trees. Ooh. Yeah, that looks great. And then a couple more here and there. Yeah. Yes, okay. Probably overthinking this. Even with this much work, I should be done probably already, but you know, I spent 15 minutes on this out in the field and it was a beautiful day and I want it to look as good as I can get it to look, you know? One of the useful things is a napkin. Let's move this. For just dabbing out a little paint so you can do a little bit more of a dry brush, which I think always looks better. I think you can make yourself look real amateurish if you put too much water in your brush, which is kind of stupid, but people love to see a little brush work. So if you know you're looking to really improve, I've seen some of these. I should make some of these eye shapes. I see these eye shapes everywhere in Aspens actually. I should put one on this tree, but I feel like I'm out of space on that one, so I'll do a couple on this one. And I have noticed that a couple of them don't really have them, but some of them have them like really clearly. So that's what I'm gonna do now over here. Up here, let's put let's do one here. A lot of these, and the pattern is all over the place once you see it. It's actually kind of hard to unsee it now. Let's do another one here, maybe. It's like this, and then these kind of like veer down really sharply. So I'm thinking about this tree in three-dimensional space and near the edge of that right now, edge of that tree. So what does that do if I'm close to the edge? It's going to curve. It would normally be like this, but it's curving, so it's going to curve like down like this, I think. Maybe I just barely see it on that side. Yeah, that's not terrible. Who cares? Moving on. Let's do just kind of a big knot kind of here. And then give me some edges. Edge here. It can overlap a little. I'm actually realizing that I should probably be overlapping a little bit more because it is like truly like it has dimensionality to it and it sticks out for sure. And then you know, maybe I do a couple more of those little pops down here and then this, and then I'm just gonna kind of, this is what I needed. I just needed to just chill out and do a couple of little goofy squiggles on this guy. Yeah. Oops. You got time when you first put down your paint, you can kind of pull up paint and try again, but if it doesn't work out great, who cares? It actually shows that you're a human being and you make normal human ass mistakes. And I think that's actually better in painting, to have some mistakes. Because isn't that what the human experience is all about? We're flawed. We try too hard. We don't try hard enough. We hurt people. We save people. I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I'm basically just stream of consciousing this now. I really want to show up here that this line... You know what? I'm going to try this with a different brush even and see what it does. This one. Okay, so I got this kind of cool, real pointy tip brush that I feel like I can get some nice edges with. And then maybe here and over this way, and then up like this. And then maybe a little darker, or maybe a lot darker. Try to really show that those are there. And I'm hoping that your brain can fill in the rest. I might try to put in some more color. Now that I'm seeing the way this is coming together. What to do? A little darker down here. Don't worry about it right now. Just worry about what you can, Denny. Get those shadows in nice. I'm on a slope here, right? So maybe I use some of this and just imply that we're moving down. And then maybe I want a nice big dark log or something down here. So I'm just going to go in hot and heavy. All right. Yeah, that looks cool. A little darker here maybe. Shadows are, especially contact shadows, are pretty dark. These are also these are dark too though. So I'm going to add in just a little bit more and maybe bring a couple of these out in front. Yeah, I like that. I like that darkness there, and it looks really cool against that white too. Contrast is very big in Aspen. That's a good one. I want that one. A lot of paint in the brush, not a lot of water in the brush. Get some of these nice color combinations around each other. And then I like this is kind of like dirtying these lines up a little bit. It was cool. Sometimes I stop breathing when I paint. I like hold my breath. It's probably some very amateurish shit to do. In the military, learn this like box breathing technique. And it's very useful. Especially, I don't know, sometimes you just get real in a heavy concentration. And you kind of just get a little goofy if you don't just keep your breathing normal. I kind of doofed the line of this tree up. It like kind of Dr. Seuss's in a little bit right now. But I've got some white space that I can use. So I'm going to establish a new line, which lives a little bit further out. Something like that. That feels okay. And then maybe one like here, just to say that this is a little bit wider than I was initially giving it. Let's bring in a little bit more of a shadow there. That looks neat. And obviously there's aspens and stuff everywhere. I could maybe try to imply that there's some in the back. I don't really know what I'm going to do in the middle here just yet. And that's A-okay. You don't got to know every damn thing. But I think I am doing a pretty good job of establishing that this color is behind this. This little yellow here is kind of making me go goofy though, but it looks like what it's doing is it's going behind this one and in front of this one. So I want to make sure if that's the plan, I want to sell that. So that's the plan. Yeah, okay, we get the idea. And then this, let's also establish where this lives. The green lives behind that, so that can kind of stick out, and it can, you add little bumbles and jumbles if you want. Maybe a couple of these downward lines here, and then try to like maybe sell it a little bit more over here. This kind of feels like one. They're kind of crazy, man. These like big eye things. They look like eyes. Yeah. And this should be darker. Darker, if I can get it darker, it's going to look better. Okay. Maybe what I'll try is here. I'll switch back over. I don't think I need the aspen picture anymore. I'm going to try this little square lady. I really like this one too. I really like these brushes a lot. I think they're going to be my daily drivers. My God, what a nerd. Okay, getting more yellow. I've got kind of a light wash. I'm going to fill in this area. I got kind of an orangish greenish brown, and it doesn't have to be perfect because I can kind of simulate that there's another plant in front of this one rather than try to like make this look like the same shape. So I can just send this shape in a slightly different direction and go like, how am I going to feel about that color? Maybe a little bit more orange before I dive in. And then an orange on the tip just for fun. And then we go burnt. Maybe here, burnt, and then hit this edge, burnt, and then down, just to try to get all that white out of there. Whoopsie. It doesn't look very realistic, but I'll just stab. Whatever. Okay, now I think we can tell what that's doing, and I think I fill in something similar. I'm better stabbers than this. I'm pulling paint off. Ding dong. Whatever. Leave it alone, Denny. Moving on. Let's go here. Let's find our edge. This is our edge. So I'm going to come in from here. Just try to establish that this is all kind of filled in. That's kind of a cool. Let's do that a little bit more and just kind of push it rather than trying to paint it. I don't really want any white if I can help it. A little bit here and there is kind of cool because it, like, I'm going to try to hit a nice sharp edge here. To help say, hey, listen, that's a tree right there. All that painting really is when you get down to it. I know everything about painting, you see. Let me tell you, it's basically just trying to create illusions that are believable and that the brain can figure out what the pattern is. So it looks like the thing that you're trying to say that it looks like. How simple is that, huh? I'm going to leave this little bit of white here. That's not bugging anything. It's not in the way of anybody. I don't love this for some reason. But that's okay. I'm going to leave that alone. This looks kind of cool. Maybe like one big dry kind of yellowish brush stroke. I don't know why. Like here. Maybe a couple more of those. That's neat. And then more here, maybe. I don't hate it. I don't know if I nailed it, but then I need to sell that same shape over here, and it needs to be a good one. It can't be no little scrub ass shape. It's got to be good. Let's see, tree here, leaves here. I'm gonna go right here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that connects maybe. It's kind of confusing. This is all kind of confusing here. I'm not sure exactly what I was doing with this. Okay. I think that's good enough for what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I'm gonna move on with my life. Aspens are, let's see, what else? You know what? Not quite. Not quite. There's more I can do. I can finish this better. I'm going to use this to try to make this could ruin it. We'll see. I want to try to get some darker colors up here. It feels like I'm flying off the page or something. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. We'll see. What happens if I just do a big ass right there? Does that look good? Maybe a little more interesting. Well, let's run it up the flagpole and see here. What's the worst that happens? I flip the page, right? God, I love this brush. Oh, it's so good. Maybe put a line coming out. Maybe these are a little longer. And there's a line, dark line coming out of that. So you know, maybe this is a little bit more textured. There's a little bit more up here maybe. Might be too much, but whatever. I don't have to do it everywhere. This is kind of cool that this is happening, where it's like bleeding in together. I feel like I've seen a technique like that with Aspens, where it all, like the shadows all bleed in with the darks, which makes it really cool looking. I don't know. I don't know about this thing over here. Okay, if I squint, that's what I needed. I think I needed to maybe place what this was. I'm gonna say it's a bush, and it goes behind that, like right up nice up next to that. Maybe it comes out the other side too. Maybe. Yeah. It's not the best, not the worst. This thing's goofy. Why don't we just say this thing goes away? That's a little better. I think it goes away over here too. I've got this kind of nice medium blue-gray color that I'm just basically using for shadows to help try to shape this tree a little bit more. Just kind of edge on. Yeah, I think that's fun. I could see some ink coming in here that might make some of this pop and help showcase that this is kind of a separate thing back there. But I like these kind of general pops of color that I've got. Some of it went a little bit awry with the green maybe. I guess I could just pull this in a little bit more. Here we go, thinking I'm done. I think I'm probably overthinking this now. But whatever, what if I just trying to generally... It actually kind of looks cool as like a little shading technique anyway. Maybe that helps sell it. I'm going to go with it. It's like the kind of shady side of the tree, right? Because I got my shadows going this way. Let's try it. Sell it. That's the edge. Maybe I shouldn't have done it there because that's supposedly where there's leaves in front. Okay. Yeah, same here maybe. Yeah, it's kind of avant-garde a little, but I'm enjoying it. Of course, as we know, there's always the most important part of every painting, big or small, and that is the signature, which I'm going to put right here. Boom. I'm putting dates on stuff because why not? Cool. Now you know how to paint.
I made that.